Hello, people of the internet, and welcome, to another review here on Pez of the Mind. I'm James Phoenix. With me is Anastasia Lazerbeam and Chriz the Mole.
Hey.
Hello.
All right. And we are here at Stacy's request to review last year's 2017 live-action movie adaptation of the hit anime and manga Fullmetal Alchemist. For those of you in the States, it's currently available on Netflix.
And in the UK, it's also in Netflix.
Also Netflix in the UK. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like a Netflix. I didn't know if it was a Netflix exclusive or it was one of those things where it was like it was made and released in Asia and then put on Netflix over here.
I think it was released on Netflix in most countries, even Japan. I think it's on their Netflix. I think it was made for before Netflix Japan.
So it's a Netflix exclusive. Okay, cool. See, full disclosure, I have never seen the anime or read the manga.
You should read it and then watch Brotherhood because that's the best one.
Okay.
No, the regular Fullmetal Alchemist was the best one. Brotherhood was like, oh, let's do that again.
Well, see, it's not. Let's do that again. It's like the writer and maker of the manga wanted a more truer version of it. So you could argue they're different, but they actually take place at the same time. And it's not like let's do it again. He's like, let's do it my way, the way the manga intended.
Yeah, which I argue you can just read the manga.
Yeah, but he wanted an animated version of it.
Which I felt the first anime, like some of the stuff they added, I thought it was awesome.
It was fine, but the guy who made it they took a different direction than the original writer wanted to go. So he wanted to make one that went in the same direction.
I feel like that's trying to argue that the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka is the better movie because it's more like the book. You're not going to win that argument.
To be fair, that was a better Willy Wonka. Nostalgic officers aside, that was a better Willy Wonka.
I personally prefer like the second one because it's closer to the manga and I like the story better and the direction. But I'm not saying the first one's bad by any means because it's not. It's good. I just think the other one is like takes it from like a 9 to like a 10.
Yeah, I just preferred the original one. I thought the anime quality was better. Overall, the second one just felt like a rehash. I didn't like that. It's like I've got over there when they did something similar with Dragon Ball, when they did it with Kai to remove the filler, which was good because the Dragon Ball filler sucks balls. But
balls. I see what you did there.
But the editing just wasn't good on some of the stuff on it, but it's still worth watching. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
No, it really sucks balls. The filler on Dragon Ball, like it literally goes against the previous established stuff because filler. It's that type of filler. I hate it.
Gotcha.
But we're here to discuss the film.
We are.
Going into this, I thought it was going to be absolutely terrible. And because most like stuff that tries to adapt a TV series into a movie is because they're two genres or they just don't mix well. But this wasn't bad. It's not like good. But I'd say, but it's not bad. It's like, it's okay. It's not terrible. Like overall. Anyways, I like certain parts that they did and they did right. Like they did the whole like one of the darkest scenes that's in Fullmetal Alchemist is where a father, to keep his license to be a scientist and gets paid for the next year of research, he experiments on his daughter and turns her into like a dog hybrid thing.
Chimera.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I'm just saying that wouldn't mean anything to anyone who didn't watch the series, so.
Chimera is an established mythical creature. They didn't invent it for the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how he turns her into it is.
Yeah. So it's really terrible.
It's like if I say to you a griffin is already a magical creature, everyone knows what that is. It still doesn't help someone that hasn't seen whatever the fuck series of Power Rangers that was when they do the Griffin Zord.
True.
Yeah, so it did that pretty well.
Yeah, I'll admit I went into this with high hopes. I'm not one of there's a few people out there that hate every anime adaptation or every manga one, but I feel they're way too harsh. If that makes sense, like they'll go like we loved the Death Note one on Netflix. I thought that was awesome. There's a lot of people who complain because there's slight changes to the source material, and then the same people will then go see, I don't know, Infinity War, and then be like, "Yeah, this is perfect." Like, but it's got major changes to the source material.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, but it's a good movie. I'm like, that's the point. You can change the source material as long as you keep to the core of what's important, and do it that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say that it wasn't just slight changes, it was kind of more major changes, but not it wasn't by any means like bad. It just went into a different like if you compared Ella Enchanted the book to the movie, like it's well, in that case it's a completely different story, but the whole feeling kept the same here. Basically the whole thing of Death Note is like a spy versus spy kind of like detective thing, and then it kept there. And I even liked how the whole one time it was also the girlfriend was also being like isn't on it, and it's like another like third spy, and it's like they have their whole thing.
Yeah. The girlfriend was brought into it because for a film, Light talking to himself the way he did sometimes would just be like with his sudden changes and how he was lit wouldn't work. So she would work there. L worked brilliantly, just almost like he wasn't there. They just changed him slightly to make him modern and make him fit realistically. Like he had the sweets, he did the sit on the couch thing. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. But people complained, and I'm like, no, like this one, I like this one. Some of the changes I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, my biggest complaint with this is more like it was with the last Airbender movie.
Okay.
Of you're doing shit without understanding why it's awesome, but you're doing it right. You're doing it almost right. You're just doing it wrong. If that makes sense, like you're doing it accurate but wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because my biggest complaint with this is they try to cram in like 20 or 30 in terms of the anime episodes worth of content.
Yeah.
Into this one movie, and like near the end, it really gets bogged down with all the different villains.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one big positive I'll give to this one though, the CGI is fucking amazing.
It is.
And I don't mean in terms of Hollywood movies, but if you ever seen any of the Japanese ones, they don't have good effects. Like the Attack on Titan live action one didn't have good effects.
I never seen that.
And some of the other like the Japanese made ones, they don't really have like Hollywood style effects. This one, compare it to, I don't know, any of the big budget Hollywood ones, and yeah, it's not as good, but I don't care about that because you're not meant to look at it how it is. Compare it to the other Japanese ones, and it's really fucking good. They've done some great ones with it.
Yeah.
I will say, as much as people will hate this, I don't like the look of the main character. Actually, a couple of characters I don't like the look of because they're accurate as fuck, but they're too accurate, if that makes sense.
It just looks a little weird.
Because to me, like when everyone else looks normal and he looks exactly like he does in the manga and anime, he looks more like he's cosplaying than an actual person.
Yeah,
right.
I can understand what you're saying.
Like
people don't normally look like that.
Yeah, like if you look at like I don't know, let's go Batman Begins for example, which is an adaptation of a Western comic. Basically, they changed the costume and made it work for that universe, and it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Christian Bale running along the rooftops looking like, oh, I'm just dressing as Batman. He looked like they made it work. I wish they'd retooled this slightly to make it fit a movie tone.
Mm-hmm.
Alphonse, though, looks amazing.
He did.
Yeah, it was okay how they did the homunculi and everything, and with lust and greed and envy.
Yep.
They were pretty good.
Also, fun fact for you: the main actor, the main character's actor, he's already been in anime adaptations.
Oh,
really?
He was in the live action ones of is it My Classroom Assassination or whatever it's called?
Assassination Classroom. Oh my god, I love that. I want to see the live action one.
Yeah, he's in that.
Oh god, I want to see that. Assassination Classroom is a fucking amazing anime. Holy shit. Like it's a really good slice of life one, and it's so good. Like I always think about it like almost every day, at least one part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, that's good.
Like the music works here as well. I felt like I said, I felt like with the rehashing of too much in there, I feel like none of the villains worked because there's too many of them at once,
and none
without
of them
the
had
backstory of why they're important.
Exactly. We didn't get enough time for any of the villains to really sink in and go, oh my god, this is why you're a threat.
Like, and some of the one of the changes is they changed the character who was a king in the previous one,
and
they made a new character that's a general in this one, but he fills the exact same role. So some of you are like, oh, maybe he's done that just to surprise the viewers. But once you realize within like 5 minutes that, oh, he's the same role, you know where it's going anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, make him the fucking king. And what were you going to say, Jim? By the way, because I realized you were saying something.
I forgot. I think I was just going to say that I agree that there were a lot of villains. And being somebody who was not familiar with the source material, I had trouble following who some of these characters were and exactly what they were doing and what was going on. Like, I got the establishment that, okay, Greed and Envy and Lust are like the main villains. I kind of picked that up. But then I started getting confused. Like, okay, the Doctor's clearly an asshole, and I've heard of that infamous scene. And I'm like, okay, this guy's clearly weird. But then I'm like, but then there's this general guy. Like, where does he fit into all this? Like, there was a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of establishment for it to be a big ending. And Mo, were you telling me there was another villain that they actually did cut?
I did not tell you that.
It was also the priest villain guy who was gonna bring back somebody's sister, and then they didn't really go super into that.
That would either be Pew that told you that, or you saw it online.
That's probably Pew was telling me that. I knew one of you I was talking to about it.
I don't think I mentioned a villain being cut.
So he probably saw it online. But that's the reason I didn't tell him anything.
No, because I remember one of you mentioned. I could have sworn it was one of you, but after I had seen the movie, we were talking about it because I think I was messaging Pew now that you say it, because we're going back and forth about talking about the different villains, and you were like, oh, is such and such you're trying to figure out like which part I was at, and you're like, oh, was this guy in it? I'm like, oh, there was a priest dude earlier. Is that the dude you're talking about? I was like, oh no, not that dude. Maybe I was talking to somebody else who had seen the manga, but you know what it is? No, I know what it is. I think I was talking to Simon about it. I was talking to Simon. That's what it was.
All right.
Okay, but yeah, it's a case of it's just weird some of the stuff with how they did the shoehorning in altogether. Like the film feels good, although some of it why you're glossing over some of the details. Also, one of the changes was the guy that loses a leg is an adult, not a child. But I can understand that because it might be too, I don't know, if it's a child for a live action.
Yeah.
However, the end of the film, like the final act, I should be most excited for it. It bored the shit out of me, the final act, because of how it was paced. Like, I just didn't care.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like I thought they didn't do that a good job with the final act.
I can understand. There was a lot going on.
But like I said, the CGI would looked good. This is one of the better adaptations out there when they try and do it this way of an anime. Like as much as people, everyone knows, like I love Dragon Ball. Never watch Evolution. That's how to do that move. That's how to do that wrong. Like a big example is in the anime or the manga, I'm gonna say they fire like energy balls made up of ki, or some people say kai and stuff like that. It goes and it does the energy balls. In the live action one, they airbend.
Okay.
And he's like, and puts out a candle. I'm like, fuck off! That's not Goku. And he's like, I'm gonna spend the whole movie hitting on this hot chick. And you're like, that's not Goku. They messed that up so much. But yeah, that makes me fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Jim's just waiting for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Live action movie.
That will be interesting.
Coming fall.
It needs to be a TV series. And be a sitcom. I want to see a live action. I don't want to see a live action Yu-Gi-Oh. All right. So, final thoughts, everybody.
I thought it was, like I said, not knowing so much. I thought it was an enjoyable movie. I did like the, I found that, I did like the concept of the story of, okay, there were the two brothers. One of them lost his body. The other one's trying to get it back. We established the different villains. Even though the villains weren't established, the villains were cool to watch doing what they were doing. The Doctor was made appropriately creepy, so that worked.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't like, but again, when I was talking to, I believe it was Simon now, in terms of, and apparently this is this way in the anime too, was the fact that we get to the end of the movie and then the protagonist just kind of stands there while the fucking badass commander dude with the fire bending just kills the bad guy.
Oh, that's an amazing scene in the anime. You should just, oh god, I just love it. Where he's like, in the anime, he was one of my favorite scenes where he actually lights the fluid in her eyes on fire, and he does all this crazy shit, and like he basically does all this precision fire bending, and Hawkeye chick has to be like, whoa, okay, you got him, just finish her off now. He has to pull him back, you know, and it's really funny. And while it was okay in there, it's even more amazing. You should just YouTube that one scene, really, just to see that to the full effect, because she's like screaming her like fucking like head off, like guttural screams, and I really like the voice actor who did that, because she was like ah, you know, and stuff, but like really fucking like you could believe that she's getting her fucking eyes burned off right now, and you know they're rehealing and then burning off again.
It's just me, or when Pew impersonated it, did it sound like the Cookie Monster was on fire? Which is an interesting way to go with that scene.
Yeah.
But my final thoughts. Oh, actually, no. Jim was still doing his. I think.
And that was weird because it was like it sounded like Cookie Monster, but then she did a Kermit flail, and I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Well, if you're on fire, isn't that what you do? You go, I'm on fire. You're trying to not be on fire.
Drop and roll.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I'm in a chair, so I'm not gonna drop. You know.
Then you can stay on fire.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
You stop, drop, and roll. That's what you. But.
Were you not taught that when you were 5? Come on.
No, I wasn't taught. I was taught fire was fun and I should play with it often. That was I think you received different messages.
Clearly.
Huh?
Yeah, kind of. Anyway. But yeah, I thought it was an enjoyable film. I thought the acting was well done. The effects were pretty cool. Even though, because they did cram a lot in, and because I hadn't seen the source material, it was a little hard to follow some of the plot lines. It was still an enjoyable resolution, getting to see the, all the villains, get defeated in the varying ways. The main character gets to the point of deciding, okay, it's not worth sacrificing this to get my brother's body back. We'll find another way. And it just, it's an enjoyable film. If I was going to rate this based on what I saw, 8.5. It's a good film. It's maybe a 9. It's an enjoyable film. The effects are good. The acting is good. The big concern, like I said, is if you don't know the source material, there is a lot going on, and it can be a little hard to follow all the different characters and plot lines that they're trying to cram into a 2-hour movie out of like 20 episodes of anime. So
yeah.
Yep. My rating was like I brought up it was like 20-30 episodes worth of shit into like this movie. It doesn't. That bit I don't like the pacing. The effects looked great. The music's great. I don't like the brothers. Their relationship's different in the manga and in the comics and stuff. Manga and anime and stuff a lot better. In this one, I don't think they had the right chemistry. It didn't feel like it clicked and didn't feel the same relationship to me, which is off-putting.
Yeah.
They also missed out a lot of characters in what episode they were trying to cram in, which I can understand because there was too much to fit in there. But like, where the fuck's my Armstrong?
He's my favorite. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not there. What? Where's Armstrong?
God, I always think sparkle.
But which, like I said, some of the stories really good, and some of the acting seemed good to me. At least I say to me because I might be wrong with. Because, like I've said before now, just because someone's doing it in Japanese, we can't accurately tell if it's good or not. A lot of people assume it is, but then you'll find out, no, it's actually not, because for certain pronunciations and stuff. But to me personally, it felt good on this one. I'll admit it felt good. So, I'm going to give it an average score, because I feel like it's got a load of pros, but it also has a lot of cons that just bring it down, like that final act. So. And also no Armstrong. No, Armstrong's not the reason, but missing characters is. But yeah,
average. I would rate this as not terrible. So because it's fairly enjoyable if you watch it without having prior material. It's a little bit much to take into, but again, like most times, I'm usually disappointed by stuff like this, and that was actually fairly decent. So I would give it a not terrible. That is totally my rating for it. Not terrible.
And
Okay.
join us next month when we review the upcoming Netflix exclusive anime adaptation in which Megan Fox plays all the Sailor Moon characters.
I'm pretty sure that's already a YouTube clip.
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
No, but I'm going to throw the challenge out live to James. Next month, adaptations and books.
Oh, I was going to say, that's a much better challenge than what I thought you were going with. I thought you were going to challenge him to... I thought you were going to challenge him to be all the Sailor Moon characters. I said, oh, God, no one wants to see that.
No.
No.
Paddington? Jim's not answering the challenge. Yay! Paddington! Paddington 1 and 2. They look really cool.
Chelsea.
All right, watch Paddington. Sure, why not?
But yeah.
All right.
So this was our review of Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yep. As Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Yep, that's Anastasia Lazerbeam. Her favorite anime of all time, I believe, is Classroom Assassination.
It's one of the up there. Friggin' that one, and Orin Host Club, and probably Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's probably my top 3 favorites.
I'm Chriz, aka the Mole. My favorite anime of all time, I believe, is Dragon Ball. And that's Dragon Ball before it gets to the Z. And there's James Phoenix. His favorite anime of all time is Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexio.
Yeah, I have not seen Zexio yet.
It's like GX.
No, the original.
5Ds.
That's card games on motorcycles.
Okay, it's definitely 5Ds.
No.
Because I'm sorry, if your plot's already ridiculously stupid, at least have fun with it.
That's
or
fair.
did Attack of the Killer Tomatoes teach us nothing? That's why that movie is fucking awesome, because they just have fun with how stupid it is.
That's true.
All right. Bye.
Yep. We'll see you tomorrow, folks, when Chris and I will be giving our annual wrestling awards, and we'll see you on Sunday for the final countdown.
Woo!
Which is the top 5 copycat heroes, I believe.
Yes, and it's not just in comics, I believe.
I believe that's correct.
Hey.
All right. See you next time, folks. Peace.